Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the second episode of our PokeBroadcast podcast. Today, obviously, you have the whole trope here. And, today's going to be a little bit more of a fun episode. You're going to learn a little bit about us. We're also going to talk a little bit about Champions Path, just what it is, what we know about it. Let's just get started talking about some Champions Path. Little description of the set. It's a mini set that's coming out next month. Its release date is September 25th. It's going to have over 70 cards. It's going to have 15 Pokemon V and 3 Pokemon V Max. And that does include Eldegoss V, Lucario V, Duraludon V, and Dreadnought V Max and Alcremie V Max. And it also has 19 trainer cards and one special energy card. So it's got a lot of trainers in this set. It's a very condensed set. You're going to mostly find, you can't buy individual packs of this. You do have to buy different collection boxes. You can also buy an Elite Trainer box of this set. In that Elite Trainer box, there's allegedly going to be a full art Charizard V promo card in there. So, very excited for that. Guys, how do you feel about this little mini set?
I'm pretty excited about it. Not gonna lie, the amount of trainers that are gonna be in like this mini set just seems like a ton to me. Like just out of 70 cards with a good, I don't know, a good fifth or a good sixth of that being trainers. I'm very excited to see if we can get some good trainers out of there. And very excited about the VMAXs as well. Dreadnought being one. I obviously we don't know anything about it, but he's probably one of my favorite Pokemon from Sword and Shield. So
for sure. I think we do know a little bit about some of these Pokemon. They have been released in Japan. We don't know for sure all the Pokemon that are going to come out. Yeah. We don't know everything that's going to be coming out in the set, but we do know cards that have come out in Japan but haven't come out yet. So you kind of predict some of the cards and what they do.
Cool. I keep pulling those up.
From what I recall, I'm trying to bring up scans at the moment. I can't seem to find a Dreadnought one, but from what I recall, Alcremie, it does kind of the same thing as Blacephalon GX, where you... Oh, wait, sorry, I thought I found it. I did not. It does 50 times the number of energy you choose to discard from all your Pokemon in play, or I think it's just Psychic Energy, and they're discarded as opposed to Lost Zoned, which would be nice if the Naganadel did not rotate, but it does. And so, that's all I can really recall of the scans that you mentioned. It mentioned Eldegoss, so I'm trying to see if that was maybe a different art or if it's just
it might be a reprint, alternate art reprint or something. I remember Lucario V. I remember having an attack for 1 fighting. It does 40 to the active and 20 to a bench, if I remember correctly. I don't really remember much about the other ones.
Here's the Dreadnought VMAX. Let me close out these ads. And it has an ability where it takes 30 less from attacks. It's fine. 320 HP, water type, 4 retreat cost, lightning weakness, no resistance. And then G-Max Stone Surge for 2 water, 1 of any, 160. Flip a coin. If heads, you do 80 more. Very underwhelming as far as a G-Max.
Very basic,
yeah.
Very basic. Even if it was just an EX, honestly. Or an EX, a V. I still think just a very underwhelming card if it was even not a VMAX. So
I guess the idea is that it's like it's kind of tanky and it 2-shots pretty much everything, and it can 1-shot V Pokemon. But yeah, it's a little underwhelming. But it does have a lot of HP. Considering the fact that it has the ability.
30 as well.
Yeah.
So
that makes me so sad. But that Pokemon.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a scan for the Alcremie VMAX. Oh, it's got 2 attacks. Weird. For 1 colorless, the effect is for each of your bench Pokemon, you search your deck for a Psychic Energy and attach them to that Pokemon. Okay, not awful. And then, for 2 Psychic, you can discard any amount of energy from your Pokemon to 60 in that way. So it's not 50. So it's stronger, obviously, and only has 310 HP. A Steel Weakness. It's a blurry scan. Yeah, Steel Weakness, no resistance, 3 retreat cost. I don't think it's bad. I like the card.
It's kind of okay.
If
Doesn't have a
there's-
lot of recovery for psychic energies, but
No,
good.
it doesn't. So yeah, that's why I was trying to think of something, but just nothing. Sadly, maybe if Electro GX didn't rotate, that'd be something cute. But sacrificing 2 prizes, but
for sure.
anything in the format, I cannot recall. That would actually be beneficial, but
Yeah.
I think those are like the only big cards. I think the Gardevoir V, because we didn't get that in English. This
No.
Darkness Ablaze, did we?
No, but it is one of the pack arts, so we will probably see that Gardevoir V in the set. Also, something to point out is that the Elite Trainer Box has Charizard VMAX on the artwork, so it is kind of people are kind of predicting that there will be either an alternate art Charizard VMAX in the set or the Rainbow Rare Charizard VMAX in this set. I could very easily see them doing the Rainbow Rare Charizard VMAX just to get collectors to try and buy up Champion's Path, because I'm sure that Rainbow Rare Charizard will go for a lot of money.
Yes.
Oh, of
yes.
course. And I mean, I think the fact that it wasn't in Darkness Ablaze, but it was in the Japanese version of the set, or one of the versions of the sets, kind of points towards it being available in the next English release. That's generally how it seems like Pokemon likes to do the releases. They'll give something cool to Japan, and then America will get it a few months later.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wish that it was like Japan, where we got these smaller sets every month, and we didn't have 200, 250 card sets where it feels like trying to pull a trainer card is as hard as pulling an ultra rare. But kind of off that topic, back to the Gardevoir. Got the scan up here. 210 HP, basic, metal weakness, 2 retreat cost. For 1 psychic, 30 damage, no effect. And then for 2 psychic, 1 of any, 120. And if you healed this turn, or if you healed this Pokemon this turn, you do 80 more damage. And I think there's like actually an item card in this set that you can play it, and it heals 80 from one of your psychic Pokemon. I think you discard an energy. I tried to pull up the scan, but I don't even remember the name of it.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like the little gimmick that goes with it. So 200 for 3 on a 210 HP basic. They're better cards. So
Yeah, for sure.
I don't really.
So I think there's our
do anything outside of that, outside of what we kind of went over.
Oh, Jack cut out there for a little
I
bit
was saying
there.
I can't think of anything worth like. Oh, I stopped just because you were talking.
Gotcha.
But what I was saying is I don't think there's anything else that I think we can bring up, at least that we know that would be in the set.
Yeah, for sure. Once we know more information about Champion's Path, you will probably see us talk more in depth about the set, probably in the next episode of this podcast, if I had to guess. But I guess moving on, we're going to talk a little bit just about how Pokemon in general is going to work for the near future due to COVID-19, what tournaments are going to look like, things like that. We've been in this pandemic for about 5 months now, and I think everyone kind of thought it was going to go away after the first 3 months. Everyone was hoping that the Pokemon season would be starting up back now. We'd be getting back into tournaments and stuff, but it's not looking like that's going to be the case for a while. So the question is, what are people going to do? How is TPCI going to keep players engaged and want to keep buying cards, wanting to keep playing the game? So let's talk a little bit about what you guys kind of expect or would kind of hope to see from tournaments nowadays. Do you think that we could do league challenges and maybe cups locally, with everybody wearing a mask, things like that, or do you think there's a possibility for IRL tournaments soon, or do you think we should try to implement more online tournaments? I'll start with Quentin.
Okay.
Well,
sorry.
Well, I think.
Hey.
Well, I think that while I would personally love to see in-person tournaments coming back, I just don't think it's in the best interests of the safety of the community. And from the way that most game rooms are set up, at least in my experience, there's not a whole lot of room to spread players apart 6 feet. Like if you're just sitting across the table from your opponent, that's 3 feet max. And like the players to either side of you, there's no way they could be 6 feet apart and still have a full like roster for the tournament. But what I would like to see is TPCI do more of this POG championship style tournament and just like actually make the Pokemon game online take the place of IRL tournaments for now. And obviously once the impact of COVID-19 is down a little bit and communities in general are just able to open up more, I hope that we'll be able to see in-person tournaments come back very soon, because as you mentioned, there's really not a whole lot of incentive right now for competitive players to be buying new sets and buying individual cards to complete all these competitive decks for this new format, when the chances of there being like IRL tournaments is pretty low at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got.
Yeah, and like just to kind of add on to what you said, Quentin, I definitely am leaning towards like hopefully, you know, TPCI can work on these online tournaments, make them more effective and available for everyone to play in, that type of thing. If they could set that up even just a little bit better, I think that's probably going to be best case scenario. Like at the moment, I don't know if it's, you know, safe for everybody. And like, you know, we have varying age groups that love Pokemon, and love to play. So it might just not be safe for everyone to go into a game room and be that close together.
For sure.
Now I say that, but I love like IRL tournaments. I love being there. The atmosphere, you can't replicate it. And it does kind of suck too for a couple of other reasons, such as there are some people that have never played Pokemon online. You know what I mean? They don't, like, when they open up a pack, that code card, they're just like, yeah, no, that doesn't mean anything to me. Like, I'm here for actual cards, like the physical cards. That's why I play. That's why I do this. And some people like really haven't built up to having that kind of binder in the online game. So I think it also kind of makes it tough for them to get back into it and playing if we do go to online tournaments. But I really can't see a good solution at the moment. I really would just wish, like, you know, we could all get through the pandemic so we could get back to those IRL tournaments, because I mean that's one of the things like I really want to do, but it's tough situation to be in right now. Jack, what do you think?
Well, so I obviously am on board with everyone else. Like, I don't think that 2021 season is going to happen, just because nothing's going to go back to the way it was. There will always be some sort of precaution that's going to carry on regardless of the severity of everything going. Precautions. Like the last tournament I went to at Collinsville, they only used about half that convention center, maybe like 2/3 of it. So some of the places do have room to create space, but is it enough space? Probably not. I would doubt that. And then, so, okay, we're not doing that. We'll move to do more what we're doing with the Players' Cups or what we've had with the Limitless, just focus more online. And a lot of those younger kids, like, kind of like Trey was saying, they like the cards. They don't miss the online stuff, whether or not they don't like it, or maybe they don't have access to it. They can't, whatever. They're too young to even use it. They're just younger kids. They like playing with the cards. And like, I haven't bought cards in a while. I think since Sword and Shield came out, I haven't bought Rebel Clash or any Darkness Ablaze, maybe just very little just to buy it. But I have no incentive to even buy singles. I have no incentive to play. I'll probably end up buying more if we do go towards the online stuff. Then I'll just buy a bunch of codes and have to start filling up that library, because I don't see how they're going to do a 2021 season. Kind of Nick brought up like, well, okay, well, what if more local stuff, closer stuff? I think they'll still have things like that. I think they'll still try to, but I think anything larger, like a regionals or anything bigger than that, where people have this like big incentive to travel and move across the country or move from country to country, I don't see that happening. I don't see people wanting to do that, or even the company wanting to try to schedule an event like that. And as far as people not being safe, but then also if they even like think of that idea and say that, hey, we want to do this, people are going to be very angry about that, because it's just going to sound like, oh, well, they don't care, they're just here for like money, like they just want the money. The card game will survive, it's going to be fine. And people understand if like we don't even have a 2021 in-person season, but if we do just stick with like, oh, we have some smaller local events where there are card shops, there are places where you can have enough space. It's something like, if that was an option, I'd do that just to go out, have fun, because you, like Trey said, you cannot replicate the experience. Like Collinsville was my first regional ever, and having that was like second to none. I played 12 hours straight for the first time in what felt like 6-7 years, and as exhausted as I was, like that was seriously my favorite thing. And like testing literally every night, moving up to that, it was something else. So being able to have that kind of feeling again is something that I am yearning for strongly. And so as soon as like there's an opportunity to, I'll obviously jump right back in it like everyone else will, but I don't see it happening at all anytime soon, and I don't expect it to. So I'm not upset if we don't get anything.
Yeah, I think those are very valid points. I think ultimately what's good is that I think TPCI is working towards trying to make these online tournaments more accessible. As many of you viewers know, there's the Players Cup over the past, started back in like June, and all the people that qualified played in July. The system was a little not perfect, because it relied on you having a lot of tournament tickets to build up tournament rep, playing in their 8-man tournaments. And even then, you obviously still have to have the cards and things like that. But I think in a recent PTCGO update, they listed that they implied that they had changed some of that stuff, like that they were making a new system for future Players Cups. And also, people that did participate in the Players Cup, they got like a special set of sleeves for online, and they were specifically called the Summer Players Cup sleeves, which implies that there will be future Players Cup, which is cool. I think it's really nice that Pokemon is kind of preparing to have an online season. Obviously, like everybody else has said, playing in person is a whole different experience. Traveling with all your friends, staying in a hotel room or an Airbnb or whatever, testing the night before, hanging out after day one, everything, like it doesn't compare to just sitting at home and playing on a computer, but it at least gives you that option to get to play and get that competitive kick out of you. But also, like we were saying, it is kind of hard to build up a PTCGO account. Like you can't just buy singles on PTCGO. You have to buy code cards, and then you have to try and make trades in the trade system. And the trade system itself isn't that bad, but it's kind of hard to get the cards as quickly as you'd want to. Maybe they work on that, but as of right now, it's just you have to buy a bunch of code cards. And yeah, I think that's the main thing. I really like the idea of them having more Players Cups. I didn't personally participate in the last one because I didn't have my own personal PTCGO account built up, and so I didn't have the cards or the tournament tickets to participate. But I believe if they do have a future Players Cup, I will try to participate in it. How do you guys feel about these Player Cups tournament that TPCI is trying to implement?
Yeah, I'll go. I think that it's finally given me an incentive to, have equity and like to invest in an account. It is good to test, but like you mentioned, it's really hard to get cards on there, and so trying to get cards on there, I'm just like, it just to me it just tires me out, and like I just rather test with friends in person. It's much easier to do that, while it'd be much better to test online against other people with completely different, thoughts of X, Y, and Z, whatever. So, but like also, it's you never get any return out of playing online before any Players Cup happened, because you can compete in their tournaments that they had, but you just like win more packs or more coins online. You never really benefit. There's no real benefit. It was really my main gripe. But now that there is tournaments and now this is going on, and I assume everything is going to be focused more there. Like you said, there's a summer Players Cup sleeve, so that it kind of implies there'll be a lot more down the road. And then if that's the case, yeah, I'm all in on that. Obviously, I like playing the game. It doesn't compare to in person, but I still kind of, scratches that itch that we all have. So.
I mean, I'm all about them having these tournaments, making sure that they can still keep that competitiveness alive, keep the season going to an extent. And I'm all about it. I'm all in for it. Obviously, got to build up my own personal account to be able to do that, which was kind of like one of the statements I made earlier, where I've never really needed to do that or felt the urge, because obviously we did our tournaments IRL, and so it was just now it's a transition time to be able to have both a real collection of cards and then a virtual collection of cards. Like that's now like it has become a necessity. So to be able to keep playing the game, to be able to keep being competitive, that type of thing. So I'm all about it.
Mm-hmm. Like Trey said, I think it's pretty interesting that you have to build a physical collection in case an actual IRL season reemerges, but also the necessity for that online collection. And like Trey, and Jack, I haven't really built up my personal collection. Like I had just opened a box of Darkness Ablaze, sorry. And I was like, let's throw these on the trope channel. But I don't think I have any packs on my personal PTCGO account. So going forward, I'll need to invest some of my own personal money towards my personal account, obviously, because I want to participate in this season, and I really foresee them keeping this season online. So that's personally what I'll be doing, because yeah, I want to scratch that itch, play in some tournaments, get some sort of rewards for playing, That's kind of the goal of competitive playing.
Yeah. So it kind of seems like we're all in consensus that like we really do appreciate that there's going to be an online season, and that they're trying to implement something so that we can still play even during these social distancing times. But it would be nice to make it a little bit easier to build up your account outside of just buying a couple $100 worth of online codes. But I mean, that would require a major overhaul to PTCGO in general, which some people have been calling for a lot. Some people have been wanting a lot of changes to PTCGO, especially since everything's going online right now. It's like this is all we got, so we want it to be good. But I respect the effort they're putting into all of this, and I'm happy to get to play online a little bit. But I guess moving on to kind of a more fun topic, we're gonna talk about ourselves. We're gonna talk about the Pokemon trope a little bit, kind of like why we got back together, and a little bit of what we're looking forward to. I guess I can kind of talk about why we got back together. Essentially, we were hanging out this summer. I think we hadn't all hung out together for a little bit, because we were all off doing our own college stuff, and I was talking to Trey before everyone else got there, and I was like, I really want to get into content creation, and I want to start my own Fyclone YouTube channel, and I kind of think I want to maybe start posting on the Pokemon trope again. And then Trey was like, heck yeah, and then we told Jack and Quentin about it, and they're like, heck yeah, and that's why we're here. And ultimately, I'm really excited about everything we got going on. Recording these PokeBroadcast episodes are super fun for me. Making the online battle videos is super cool. Getting to try out different decks, and just hanging out with the boys is always a good time for me.
Oh yeah, definitely. And coming back together, like Nick said, we finished all our school and stuff, and like, well, we got time. We have our priorities, obviously, but we can kind of put more effort into this. We can just do it for fun. We enjoyed it the first go around, and obviously it hasn't changed. It's just we just haven't been. Our paths all went separate ways for a little bit. We all had school. We all finished up school, and so now we're like, well, there's no reason not to. We get back together. We all can sit around and play Pokemon, kind of like, and get our creative juices flowing, because I think everyone needs that kind of outlet. And so it's much better than just kind of sitting around and just doing the same old. Give us something new to do. And that's kind of the main reason I want to come back, is just it's just something fun to do. It's gets us all together, because we all live in different parts, and especially now that everyone can't be together as much as they want to, with everything locking down and shutting down and being forced to stay away, this is a good outlet to come together as well, and just kind of do something, not necessarily something new, because we've been doing it before, but something different. And now that we actually have the time to put effort into what we're doing, hopefully kind of make everything a little better, but keep doing what we're doing and have fun with it.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I truly love doing this kind of stuff. It was so much fun when we first started the Trope channel. I mean, I loved it. I loved getting together, making content, and I love doing this too, especially since I live pretty far away. This is definitely a great time where I get to talk to everybody, get to do something we all love, and I get to play Pokemon. Like that's been a great childhood thing. Like I've had since childhood, and so I'm glad I can still keep doing it. And now that we all have like the ability, time, and and can get new cards when we want, we can do all that kind of stuff. It just makes it that much better.
For sure. Yeah. Well, personally, I got into Magic the Gathering for a while, and that game is really expensive. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't get into Magic if you can avoid it.
I'll play casually with friends, but no, I won't invest a dime just because Pokemon's enough.
Yeah.
I don't need $3,000 on a deck that will give me 2/2 drop in tournament.
It's a move.
Yeah. So I've been playing some Magic with some other friends, but we only play friendly and stuff, and like the competitive side of Pokemon was really something that really drew me, because what with Nick, our national champion from 2016,
the reigning U.S. national champion. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, I said the last national champion.
Quentin did.
the last national champion. I actually didn't know that. Sorry, forgot the internationals and nationals rules and stuff. That's been something interesting, getting back into Pokemon, all the tournament structure changes. But what hasn't changed is that Pokemon is just great fun, and I get to enjoy it with my friends. that'll never change, no matter how bad a rotation may be, or whether we have a rotation where we literally never get an in-person tournament. You know, either way, I get to spend time with my friends. I get to, do some strategic deck building and come up with a great list, and then test away, and just the whole process of deck building and playing in tournaments. Everything from point A to, I don't know what you call it, point Z. I don't know. It's all so much fun to me. So I'm just really glad that the trope is back together, and we're here to make some great content for you.
Yeah. Sick. So we're gonna go into a couple of fun questions that we kind of came up to ask each other. The first one we have here is, what is your favorite TCG set of all time? I actually hadn't thought
I can
about
answer this for Trey and I.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Jack knows my answer. Yep.
Yeah, like
Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Triumphant. Ooh,
like because Heart Gold, Steel Silver is good. It's the best era, everything about. I mean, it might be nostalgia bias, but plenty of people can agree. I think the art is amazing, as it's so different. The game, I think, was great just because it was right before when EXs came back, and it wasn't super aggressive. Okay, well, let's just everyone play Mewtwo now, where that was, a year or 2 years later.
Mm-hmm.
And it was unique. It was, and now God, when was it out? We were only 13 at the time. We were young, so we didn't understand the full competitive grasp. But recently playing back, like 2010 format, 2011 format, just be able to play back there, realizing like how much more in depth the game really was than I understood at the time, and how if I knew what I knew then, knowing now how completely different, like obviously everything would be, everyone will think that way, but I have this like infatuation with the Heart Gold, Steel Silver era, and I couldn't pick one set. I just think it's all great from top to bottom, from just good cards to good art to good nostalgic feeling from back then. Sorry to budge in there, but
I was gonna say I'll
drop it.
I was gonna say I'll go next because I'm right there with Jack. So one of my first like packs of cards that I ever remember opening was my grandma took me. We went to Target because we were just gonna go shopping, and I saw some Pokemon cards, and I thought, I haven't gotten Pokemon cards in a really long time, and Heart Gold and Soul Silver had just come out. I didn't know that by any means, but that's the set that just came out. So she bought me like 4 blisters of it, and in the first pack I opened it up and I got a Meganium Prime. So, and I still have that card to this day. It was so cool, and then that kind of sparked my whole getting into the TCG. That's when I started playing, and I actually went to Ames League, and then shortly after Jack started too.
Yeah, because we had a mutual friend, and we were hanging out, and just his mom was like, we were out, and was like, because he was just getting into it as well. He doesn't play anymore. We haven't talked to him in a long while, but at the time, so Trey had the Meganium, and he ended up getting the Meganium theme deck. Our friend got the Typhlosion theme deck, and eventually got a Typhlosion Prime himself. And then his mom was generous enough to buy me the Feraligatr one. And so in that Feraligatr one, each theme deck came with 1 pack, just one, pretty sure. One came with at least 1 pack, and in that 1 pack was Feraligatr Prime. I'm like, dude, this card's sick. The card is sick art, and Rain Dance, sick ability. And so my little young child brain was like, cool, just throw energy into play. I'll take everything out except for energy and Feraligatr. And that wasn't only that. I think I gold in there and Blastoise. All right, but I took out like all the trainers. No, and then after that, not much longer later, I realized, oh wait, strategy exists. And so like my first deck was dedicated was Feraligatr and Blastoise. Wasn't great, but it was the first time I actually kind of on my own realized how strategy in a card game works. And so that's kind of where, in that same time area, it just being able to kind of come up with that, like not come without my own, because obviously 1,001 other people could have thought of it, but I didn't have the online resources that we do today. And so that's something cool that like sticks with me mentally, and that's kind of where I came from. And so that's why all that holds a near and dear place to my heart.
For sure.
Sorry, we're super old.
Yeah, compared to you two. So okay,
Sure.
Nick is next in line then.
Okay. Well, my favorite TCG set. I guess I have some personal bias to Phantom Forces because it did have Night March in it, and I won U.S. Nationals with a Night March deck. I hold it near and dear to my heart in that sense. It was just a good set in general, but I guess I could also argue that Lost Thunder is my favorite TCG set of all time because the Sun and Moon to Lost Thunder Cities format was one of the, or not cities, like the League Cups at that time, because there weren't really regionals around then, but all the League Cups I went to in that time were so much fun. The format was really cool. You had a huge mix of like really aggressive decks and like kind of more mid-range decks. I played the crap out of Zoroark GX, Alolan Ninetales GX, and Decidueye GX. That deck was super cool. It was super fun to see 2 stage 1s and a stage 2 all in the same deck and work consistently. And you had like the Decidueye's Feather Arrow ability that puts 2 damage counters on anything every turn, and then Zoroark GX for consistency, trade, discard, and draw 2 cards, and then Riot of Speeding doing 120 or 20 times the number of Pokemon you even play for a DCE. So you kind of set up one-shots in a way, and and Alolan Ninetales GX, when you evolved into it, you search for 2 item cards, and then its attack for Fairy Colorless did 70 and then a 30 snipe. So you set up a lot of cool math that way, and it was just a super fun deck to play. I loved going to those cities, or the League Cups that I went to in that time. So yeah.
Not gonna lie, I definitely thought your set was gonna be Boundaries Crossed. I thought for sure it was gonna be Boundaries Crossed.
Boundaries Cross was the first set that from when I started, but I don't hold any emotional attachments to Boundaries Cross specifically. Just because like I never like my first like EX I pulled was like a Black Kyurem EX from Boundaries Cross. Not the Black Kyurem EX from Plasma Storm. That one was good.
Not the good one.
No, the Black Kyurem
Yeah,
EX.
not the good one.
The Black Kyurem EX from Boundaries Cross was terrible. I ended up trading it within a week of me pulling it, and it was my first ultra rare. I held no sentimental attachment to it.
Yeah, no, the
That's what
first
you gotta do to
one I
be
pulled
best.
was like Kyurem. Yeah. I got rid of the thing so quick. 'Cause I'm like, man, this thing isn't Mewtwo. Because they came out in the same set. So I was like, nah, see ya. But
Yeah,
I
I was
can understand that
gonna
just
say-
because, like, well, like
You
for
go,
Nick,
you go.
Boundaries Cross doesn't hold me sentimental value because he didn't. Yeah, it would. I guess not same experience as we did. Just because, I mean, I kind of put mine in a whole like era of just like the entirety of Heart Gold, Soul Silver. That whole like year and a half, almost 2 year span. I think it's a year and a half. I didn't understand that, and where Nick's coming from, like, well, this whole deck that he like put his name on the map with came out of this one set. Obviously, like that, if I had that same, I would have that same attachment if that was me in that case too. And him bringing up like just his that run of cities playing that deck, like that made me think of just a bunch of other things that I did too that I could mention, but I probably might get into later with some other questions that we could have.
Thank you.
Sorry to try to time in there.
It's all good. I don't even know what my favorite set is. But I remember I got into the Pokemon TCG with Plasma Storm pre-release. That was the first event I ever attended, first packs I ever obtained. I built a garbage fire deck. It was so bad. It was so
I
bad.
was a Plasma Bird deck, bro.
Dude, I remember that
Plasma
deck.
birds.
Because he had the Zapdos and the Articuno, man. We're like, all right, I'm with it.
I remember that Plasma Moltres,
Yeah.
dude.
Oh, that Moltres is so good.
So good.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. I was pretty bad. I did not know. I did not know what cards were good. I didn't know what abilities, mechanics. I didn't understand the game. I was new to the game.
Mm.
But I don't know. I don't know what my favorite set of all time would be. I don't feel like I was around long enough to really see a full rotation. I don't know though. I mean, Dark Explorers was prevalent through my entire experience. And the first deck I ever played was one of our friends' Darkrai Hydreigon decks at a Tuesday Night League way back when. We were like, how old were we?
We would have been
Probably like 13 or 14.
14. We would have been like
14,
freshmen. Yeah, because we started around the same time. So yeah, we would have been like 14.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's just crazy to think about how long we've been involved in this game. And I haven't even been involved in this game nearly as long as Trey and Jack, and only slightly shorter than Nick.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Right, like a while back I was thinking about it. I'm like, man, I've spent a decade playing the game, or at least being involved competitively. As like, decade's a long time. And I remember like a couple years ago, I was at a local league, and I was just kind of on my own at the time because I think I was waiting for friends to show up. But I don't remember anything else except particularly this, where a kid was like playing a game next to me against another kid, and the mom's like sitting in the seat across from me watching her kid. She's like, "So how long you been playing?" I'm like, 8 years." And she just like gives me this weird look. I'm like, "What the? Why?
What's wrong with that?
What's like this like scornful, judgmental? Like, really? You spent 8 years playing?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't care. Have fun.
It's fun.
I love this game, man. Like, what do you want me to do? Sit around and twiddle my thumbs at home? No. Want me to do my homework? No. I'm playing Pokemon. Get off my back. Come on."
God.
So,
I don't know why that. Go ahead, Nick.
oh yeah. So another question we have here. What was your favorite deck of all time, either to play or that you saw someone else play you didn't personally play? I kind of talked a little bit about how I really enjoyed playing that Zoroark Alolan Ninetales Decidueye deck. Like, that's probably the most fun I've had playing a deck personally. I guess Night March Vespiquen and winning $10,000 and stuff, that was like fun.
That's cool.
I mean,
guess.
I did enjoy playing that deck. I really did. But yeah, I feel like if I had to choose, I'd probably say the Zoroark Ninetales Decidueye deck.
Yeah, and I understand that because you had more like actual fun, and so that's why like I'm sitting here trying to think. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
It was a lot
deck.
more. Yeah, I was making big brain plays and things like that.
Right, because you feel more involved playing that than just, all right, well, turn one, I'm gonna dump my deck in my discard pile, knockout, good game, you know. But so that's why I'm like I'm having a hard time trying to pick a deck, so I'm not gonna pick one. It's like I mentioned Feraligatr Blastoise being like my kind of first competitive deck where it's like, as far as, okay, well, there's a strategy behind it. Attach water energy to Blastoise because of Feraligatr. That's it. And the next one I can recall, is this would have been any like electric deck, because that came out Noble Victories not too much longer after I think it was like the second Black and White set, second or third, because there's Emerging Powers and Noble Victories. Anyways,
Yeah.
and I pulled like 3 at the pre-release. I was like, this is sick. This card's sick. And then eventually over time, I just focused building my deck just around that because I just thought it was so good, and having like Level Ball and a bunch of other like actual cards and grasping how to be competitive and build a competitive deck kind of on my own, just because at the time there weren't the abundance, like I said, of the online resources we have now, which is just insane to think about, comparing how short of a time period it was from like even 2013, 2014 to now. So like any electric deck, electric Rayquaza, obviously like the first thing that comes to people's minds. That was one of my favorites. Electric Mewtwo. I had like one Mewtwo copy. But so I like play just like Tornadus EX comes to mind, and Zekrom. Just like I did whatever I could to use electric, just because I love the card so much. And then Darkrai decks at that, like the Darkrai pre-release I went to, Dark Explorers pre-release, pulled a full art Darkrai, and like my brain just focused on that. And then did Plasma sets came out after Dark Explorers, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So then after that, and then I got excited over watching a Top Cut video. For those who know, the Top Cut is if you're evolved around, and Mr. Kyle Sukovich himself posted a deck revolving around Team Plasma's Tornadus. And what the card did, let me pull up a scan, because I don't remember the exact numbers off the top of my head.
I'm pretty sure it's 60 plus 30 for each plasma energy attached.
That's what I was thinking, but I didn't want to speak wrong. Yeah. Oh man, look at that card. What a beautiful card. So for its first attack, broken attack, for 1 energy, you shuffle your hand in and draw a 6. It's just Eek on a Pokemon with 180 HP. And you have Colress Machine, so you don't even have to attach the energy from your hand. It's insane. And then Jet Blast for 4 colorless to 60 plus 30 for each plasma energy attached. So you're hitting 180 damage, and that's the number to hit for like, because nothing past 180 HP. And you have Colress Machine, you have all these aggressive ways to get. Okay, Nick, what's your point?
I'm going off. I'm telling you, like, I'm playing
along.
I'm playing along with your combo.
You're
going.
You're
I'm
I
vibing.
am.
Don't
Yeah,
forget
I am.
DCE.
'Cause
DCE
the
was
deck-
in the format.
Yeah, but it's not a plasma energy.
Yeah, that was
and
bad.
you need the plasma energy to do damage.
True.
Yeah, it's
True.
terrible
You need
card.
that quadruple Colress machine.
And then you
Yeah.
had stuff like Lugia EX, where if it'll pull up, cool. Oh man, gorgeous card. All of these arts. And then for an ability where you just take extra prizes, and you deal for 4 energy, 4 colorless energy, you did 120. Discard a plasma energy attached to this Pokemon. If you can't discard a plasma energy, the attacks is nothing, but you'll always have your energy. Don't worry, because you have plenty of ways to get it. And one of the main cards that also worked in this deck was Porygon Z, which is why we brought up Porygon Z and the other one about how great I think Porygon Z is as a Pokemon. It's amazing. Porygon Z is
the plasma Porygon Z.
yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Well, Plasma Porygon Z did. It allowed
Welcome
you
to Jack's TED Talk.
allowed you to just move
Why
your plasma
Porygon
energy.
Z is the greatest.
Plasma energy. You just move them around because you could switch it to your Lugias, take extra don't on those like small that don't require the 180 damage, and you're probably surviving a hit or two. So you got max potions. You just move the plasma energy off you, max potion, you heal it all. It's a broken deck. Okay.
Is Jack
We
talking
don't
about
bring up Thunderous EX. Don't talk about it.
Jack talking
No.
about Porygon Z is like that meme about the dude like yelling into a girl's ear at the bar. It's like so Porygon Z is this really cool card where you get to move around your plasma energies, and Tornadus EX does 180 damage if you have all 4 plasma energy attached. So since you can't get one shot very easily,
I love that analogy because it's dead on.
dude, that's
It is
that is Jack.
100%.
Okay.
Honest to God, I think just now we kind of lost Jack for a second there because he was just.
I'm just laughing.
He was just
off in
going.
another
He's
world.
going.
I was in, dude. I was focused. I'm like, bam, bam, gotta hit these points. But I'll cut it there as far as Porygon Z. All right. And then after that, only real thing that sticks to my mind of what like I love to play would be Blacephalon GX. Just because I love the card.
And
I do love the
I
clown.
love the clown.
Punk, and I love Welder. That's a broken card too. I'll go up to, we'll bring up the same analogy as well for Welder. But like, I mean, even like before Welder came out, I liked the deck, but it was like something's missing. because I didn't like playing the energy switches in there, which was like an early concept. And then while they came out, I was like, oh, okay, cool. The deck's broken. It wasn't.
It was.
And then that's the kind of deck that I took into Collinsville, which was my first regional. So the ADP Blacephalon kind of ultra plays in my heart. It wasn't the best play to make, but I still enjoyed it. It still almost worked out well. I was one card short, and I lost to Silvally GX, but I don't like talking about that because it hurts my feelings. I lost fair square. I'm not gonna John, but I took out my one Night March counter. I was like, I don't need it. I needed it. Yeah, shocker, right? But that kind of deck, I really enjoy playing that as well. And so it's really hard to pick one. If I had to pick one, probably Tornadus. Yeah, Tornadus Porygon, shocker. But yeah, there was a bunch that obviously I'm sure we can all have the same kind of idea. Like, wow, there's like so much, like so many different stages and how we've kind of evolved through playing as well. Like kind of Nick's brought up too. So I'm done talking. I took up too much airtime. I've been playing for too long. So we'll cut it there.
All right. All right, Jack. I was gonna say, whenever I thought about decks you played, it was definitely electric. Like that always came to mind. And then I know you got second out of cities, using Raikou EX electric, which was also which was it had Magnezone too. Like that was like that weird little format where we had electric, Magnezone, and Raikou.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yep.
You brought me getting second, and that reminded me of like the string of cities where I would go like 5-1, 4-1, whatever. I lose the last game, but like every round I get down paired. So the last game I lost, I wouldn't get anything. I get like 4th or 5th, and I'm just mad about that again. But I'm done talking.
All right. I'll jump into my favorite deck. So I have probably one. Okay, when you said that, when you asked that question, I immediately jumped to one deck. So that's like that. That's the one I've got to say. And it's Cake. I think Jack probably remembers me playing this deck a ton. So Cake stands for Cobalion Kyurem Electrode, and it was Electrode Prime. So I don't know why I love this deck so much, but it was just there was some weird synergy between this steel, water, and electric type. Like it was so weird.
Was it called Blend Energy?
No,
it was called Prison Energy.
Fair.
And it was called I can throw this away
true.
for one prize and just dump energy into play.
True.
And have just two amazing attackers in Kyurem and Cobalion.
True.
Like that deck was
it was awesome, and I loved it. I loved playing it. Whenever we always had like back in the day, Jack would come over to my house to play Pokemon, and then my brother would also play, and then he had some friends that played. So whenever people came over, I was always like, "Oh, we're playing Pokemon!" Like I've got my deck. Like
let's go.
Like I've got Cake ready. Like let's go. Who's gonna get some? Like,
Who's gonna get some?
right.
I loved it. It was such a ragtag, like it felt like a ragtag group of Pokemon that I was just, and also I felt like Electrode Prime was super underplayed. It just I loved that card, and I don't know. I mean, it also came out my favorite sets. So, but yeah, I mean, I gotta give it up to that deck because I loved it. I have not had that much fun playing a deck. Although Thundurus EX came close. That deck Thundurus Deoxys came close.
Oh, TDK.
I really enjoyed playing that.
Pretty sick deck.
Oh yeah, that was fun. That was a fun one too. But Cake takes it for sure.
Cake takes the cake?
Yes, it does.
Cut that.
No.
Got that. Rude.
Cut that. My favorite deck, I'd say, was probably that Plasma deck with Thundurus, Deoxys, and Kyurem. That Plasma deck was a lot of fun. I've also played a lot of 2011 format, which I wasn't around for when it was standard, but a lot of my friends really love the 2010, 2011 format. So I've played a lot of the 2011 Worlds format, and I really like the Reshiflosion deck, you know? It's just like
Oh yeah.
fire energies. Let's get more fire energies. Do more damage. Yeah, do damage to me. I do more damage. Yeah, right back at you. But I don't know. That Thunderous Deoxys Kyurem deck was a lot of fun though. Plasma was a fun mechanic in my opinion, and that was when I was first getting into it, so I was really excited about Pokemon in general, and then that was the cool like niche like I don't know, mechanic of the time. So, I don't know. That holds a close place for me. What was that? Uh-oh, Jack.
Oh, because everything on my end just froze up.
Oh.
I was like, well. So
think-
I'm assuming it was just me freezing up in your guys' end.
no, things are good here. For some reason, my webcam's not focusing right now, and I don't know why it's not doing the autofocus. But yeah, let's see. Yeah,
Nick, it's your turn to go though.
it's my turn to go. Okay, I mean, I guess I kind of already
There you
covered.
go.
I covered a
No.
little bit
Oh, you
before.
did?
Yeah, about like the Zoroark Decidueye Ninetales deck, and then
Oh right.
I guess one thing I can bring up is that recently, Jack and Kieran have started making these 2010 decks, and I have really enjoyed playing this 2010 format. Like with them, there's been a lot of cool decks I've played. Like Lux Ape, Luxray, Infernape is really cool. Mostly because Infernape's my favorite Pokemon, and this is like the only Infernape deck that's ever
And it's
really
a
been
nut
competitive. And yeah, it's just super cool. All the SPs and stuff, a single prize format. It's really cool. Games last a long time, so you feel like you have a lot of decisions to make, and you can actually play like multiple turns ahead. I think it's a lot of fun to play. I always really enjoy when I do get to play it.
I want to say on that the only good Infernape. I'm pretty sure I played that Plasma Infernape in my fire deck when I first started.
That wasn't good. That Infernape was terrible.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
yeah, that thing's bad.
It was not
Jack,
good.
pull it up.
It was not
Because
good.
I forgot what it did. I'm like, what is it? I forgot it existed.
I
but
don't
recall
remember.
now,
I don't
and
remember what it does.
It was
So for one color, it's
Actually, wait,
you
what?
can't. You pick an attack your opponent can't use, and then for one fire, one of any, you did 120, discard all energy, on a stage 2.
it wasn't good.
No, it's bad.
It was bad.
I wish I went back to forgetting it existed.
Well, hey, what
Sorry.
wasn't back in the day? Wasn't Infernape level X actually used though?
There were
It
a
was used in
couple.
a couple separate decks.
There were a couple good
so.
Infernape level XX. The Infernape SP level X is actually pretty good, and the regular Infernape level X is also pretty good.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna
I'm trying
say.
to
I
look at it.
remember one of them being played.
Is this Infernape? What's during your turn? You may look at. Scan's really blurry. I don't know.
No worries.
I don't know. I can't recall because I haven't played. I think like the 2009 format then.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah.
that was base
Ooh, it worked.
Diamond Pearl. I think that it came out.
Nick's back.
Yeah, for some
not-
reason I don't know how it just fixed itself. I don't know.
Oh, the autofocus worked.
Technology.
Weird.
Weird. But
Crazy.
yeah, I think that covers everything for this episode today. Thank you unless anybody has anything else they wanted to add.
I'm good.
No.
I guess. How about we just go around and just share one of our favorite, just overall memories of playing the game up until
okay.
now.
Okay.
And I guess I'm gonna start. And like I said, I think my favorite thing was testing and the whole Collinsville experience, the whole regionals. I'd come back into the game because I had been so busy with everything else in life, and I remember just like I called Nick. I'm like, okay, so what's the next tournament going on? Oh, Collinsville. Okay, how long do I have? Hey, you got like a month and a half, 2 months. No, or 3. I think it was like. Anyways, I don't have a lot of time. Like, okay, cool. And so to try to like totally learn expanded from scratch because there wasn't expanded when I stopped to digest and how much the game changes because with all this stuff that we have access to online, people are always finding ways, always working to improve the decks. And so like literally week to week, okay, here's this winning list. Okay, well, completely different for this next turn that happened next week. And so trying to like wrap my head around that and actively, because I'd never actively sat down and like tested over and over like for the best deck. I just I played what I thought was fun because that's what I did, unless it was like nationals that I'd go to or like a cities. Then like, okay, well, I'll try a little more. But anything like a battle roads, or not cities, states rather, but like cities and battle roads, I kind of just like, I'll just have fun. Literally play a different deck every day. But sitting down, dedicating that time, like testing what felt like it had to be at least 6 nights a week. And then having that big payoff of playing through, almost making day 2, missed it. I was like exhausted the whole day. And I was like, man, I just want to play against a Lowland Rowlet Executor because I'm playing a fire deck. I just want to blow you up in one turn with a Welder and Attachment. And then I finally hit that towards like the end. I'm like, all right, cool. I was exhausted. I'm like, I kind of just want to scoop these. If I get destroyed game 1, I'll just scoop. I'll head home. I'll take a nap or something. And then they flip over egg. I'm like, well, I guess I'm gonna win. I never said that out loud, but that's kind of how things went, just because it was so one-sided. And then after that, spend the whole night hanging out with all the homies, meeting new homies, and then having that time like just traveling around that I've never really done on my own. Completely different experience, something completely new, and something I'm yearning to have again. And so that's probably my favorite thing that I've done up until now.
For sure.
Gotcha. Yeah. I actually like one that comes to mind is not actually of me playing, which is kind of interesting, like me playing or testing or anything. Like my favorite Pokemon memory is not anything like that. And sorry, Nick, but I'm gonna take this one from you. But it's definitely seeing Nick win U.S. Nationals in 2016, just because I messed up my registration. Like I don't know how I did that, but like so I saw that you could you can get in line and like register at the event. I looked at that line and went, nope, like that's not happening. Like I'm like that's not what I'm doing. And so I took I for that entire nationals, like I didn't play. I was able to just like walk around, record, like meet people, talk with people, and it was truly getting the whole like Pokemon experience that I really had never thought about or never done, because I've always been so focused on playing when I'm there. It was so cool to be, to talk to Kieran and talk to Nick after every round and like just see how both of them did, like what they could have done better, all that stuff, and like just seeing their thought process. I was just like, this is so cool. And I think I've taken like a lot of it for granted, like that all that goes into like these tournaments, how everybody takes them super seriously, but once you step off, you can be like having fun. I don't know a lot of competitions where you can just do that and like all the side events and stuff like that, and then finally getting to like after every round, all of a sudden Nick's like, yeah, I won, and then yeah, I won, and then yeah, I won. I was like, oh, hey, whoa, like whoa, whoa, what's happening?
You gotta stop winning, man. Hold on here.
And then all of a sudden he's sitting, he's up on stage, and I'm like sitting there like, oh man, he's gonna win this. Like he's gonna win this whole thing, and just going nuts with the crowd. And it was kind of fun too, because it was like me, Nick's dad, and like Kieran sitting down in the front row. Like we had to be up front. And then I was half watching Nick through the process, and then half explaining what was happening to his dad. But his dad was actually catching on to a lot of it. But he was like, what's happening? What's happening? And I'm like, like trying to explain all this stuff.
He's winning. That's it.
and it was really funny because we happened to be sitting right next to the big friend group that the other guy had. So I a couple of times, like, they said something, and I just wanted to stand up and be like, square up, like, let's go. And I feel like your dad, Nick, kind of wanted to also. Like, they at one point, the guy chaos wheeled. You know what I mean? They're like, he can't play any special energies. Like, he's done. Game over. I'm like, he attacked once. Like, obviously not game over. We know who has the trophy. Like,
Yeah.
So that's easily one of my favorite memories.
Sure.
Nick, do you want to go next, or do you want me to?
You go next. I gotta think a little bit.
Okay. I think I've only been to one nationals. I think it was 2015. Is that right, guys?
No, 2014. Because I don't think any of us went to
2014.
2015.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
no,
right.
no. Okay, I was gonna say I didn't go to 2014. I went to 2013.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we went-
Yeah. I don't
Okay.
think you were there, Trey.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I was there.
I thought you
I'll
went
say
with us
just-
to 2014 as well. Because I went to 2013 and 14.
I wasn't there.
Yeah,
I
Trey
only
wasn't there
went
for
to two
2014.
Okay.
But just that entire experience was the greatest. It was so great. It was just crazy being in that huge convention center and seeing all of the shops that, like, normally were only accessible to me via their websites. You know, like, all the vendors were there, and then all of the super cool side tournaments going on after I definitely didn't make day 2, and just hanging out, having fun. It was so great. It was such a great opportunity, and that's definitely one thing that I'm missing most this season is the traveling with my friends and just getting to hang out with other people across the country or across the world even, and yeah, just experiencing Pokemon worldwide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I guess I'll talk a little bit about U.S. Nationals because it's probably my best memory, but I also have another really good memory. U.S. Nationals was obviously a lot of fun. Originally I went into it, I needed a top 128 finish for my Worlds invite, and I went into I was doing really well. I was really happy with myself. I was going into round 9. I was 6-2, and I was like, maybe I should just ID so that I can get my Worlds invite, and then but I wouldn't make day 2, and then somebody was like, oh dude, 6-3, dude, you're gonna be top 128 easily. I'm like, okay. So I played it out. I won. Super excited to make it. I was just excited to make it day 2. It was super cool to make it into day 2 at the Nationals, and I just kept winning games, and I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing here. But it was super fun getting to play on stage, getting to watch having everybody watch me play, having the support from Trey and my dad and all my other friends there was super cool. My dad always tells me about how like Trey telling him what was happening in the games. He's like, like it'd be like 1 minute, Trey's like, oh no, it's not looking good, things are looking rough. And then, like, a minute later, Trey's like, oh my gosh, he's gonna win! And my dad's like, what's happening? So that's always really funny. But another great memory I have comes from my first regionals. It was Fort Wayne regionals for the 2015 to 2016 season. It was like one of the first, I think it was the first regionals of the season. And I had never been to a regionals before, and I was like, I want to start going to regionals this season, and I want to see... I want to try and qualify for Worlds. I think I can do it. I think I'm good enough. I want to try. So I get to the regionals. I don't really have an idea of what I'm going to play. I don't even know what I planned on playing going into it. I straight up had no idea. But I just remember staying up super late. I ended up getting this Sableye Garbodor deck list from Austin Bags, and I think maybe some other Texas players. Me and Kieran got this list. We tinkered with the list, and 4 a.m. rolls around, and we have this this super whack Sableye Garbodor deck. Probably one of the weirdest decks I've played. We're playing like Virizion EX and Blend Energy so that we don't get lasered and stuff. It was insane. But yeah, I'm playing this control deck at my first ever regionals. I've never played a control style deck before, but I'm trying my best, and I end up getting top 4 at that regionals with that Sableye Garbodor deck, and I think it was really cool because it was like this deck that nobody knew was coming, and it was so there's a lot of hype around that, and also it's my first regionals. I've never done anything relevant before. Like I had maybe won like a league challenge at that point, and it would like one. I would have maybe won one tournament at the time, but go to my first regionals and I get a top 4 finish, and I was super happy with myself, and I thought it was really a really eye-opening experience for me, like knowing like, hey, like I can do this, like I can be like a good Pokemon player, and I can go to these tournaments and I can do well. I can make a name for myself in this. And that's ultimately what propelled me to qualify for my first world championships and to win U.S. nationals that same season. So, yeah, I that's always 2015 to 2016 season always will hold a special place in my heart, and because of that.
Okay, and I want to elaborate on this a little bit. Like I was at that regionals with you. And when he says, like, he changed his mind to get to this Sableye Garbodor deck, I mean, like, he really changed his mind. Like, he was set up until, like, 10 p.m. And then all of a sudden, like, came to me and was like, I need Sableyes. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like,
oh, yeah, there was, like, a huge scramble.
There
was a huge scramble to get Sableyes because I don't think I maybe had one. Like, I think I had one Sableye, and I needed 4 Sableyes. I'm like, I don't know where to get Sableyes.
You were running around like trading everybody to get all of these cards for that deck, and I remember that, and I'm like, you're nuts, dude, you're nuts. Like I couldn't. There's no way.
We were up so late. We were up way too late.
I know.
But I mean that's ultimately like what Pokemon tournaments are all about. Like staying up way too late, play testing these decks, hanging out with all your friends. Like it's those type of experiences that really make me love playing Pokemon so much. Like those are the things I'll never forget. Just getting to hang out with friends and all the crazy nights before the regionals and after day one, celebrating or sulking, depending on how the day went. But it's so much fun. But I think other than that, I think we're gonna end this episode there. Thank you all so much for watching and to listen to us ramble a little bit about how much we love Pokemon. We all really enjoy doing this podcast for you guys. So make sure to like and comment down below. Some of your favorite Pokemon experiences, and comment down some questions you would like to hear us answer in future podcast episodes. We love interacting with our viewers, and we'd be more than happy to answer your questions. And if you want to see more Pokemon content, make sure to check out my personal YouTube channel Fyclone and follow me over on Twitch. Links for both of those will be in the description below. We have a lot of fun over there. Play mostly Pokemon, but we play some other games too. It's a lot of fun. And of course, make sure to subscribe here. Keep up with the latest and greatest content we put out here on YouTube. And I think that's everything we got here from the Pokemon Trope. See you guys.
That's all I got. We're good.